Well, good morning or good afternoon, whichever way you'd like to say it. It's a pretty good crowd for a Friday afternoon. Thank you for coming to hear about what the city has experienced the last 2 years. And we'd go ahead. I'd like to acknowledge again by visual aid all the sponsors of this event today. Thank you, Chamber, for sponsoring this. And it's been a while, obviously. I was asked by the county judge just how many of these we've done, and I can't remember the exact number, but at least 5 or 6 or 7 of these, going back to Ken as the city administrator. When last we met, that's not a great opening. When last we met in 2019, little did we know that a small news item about a virus would so drastically change our world as it has. The last 2 years, we have definitely traveled a long and winding road. The impact of COVID on our city. It has greatly affected many communities, and Early was no exception. But the areas of greatest impact would be tourism, sales tax, and COVID-related expenses. The impact on tourism. Well, as you might suspect, as we entered the lockdown, tourism began to decline. People stayed home, not able to travel, initially not able to go to work as well as for pleasure. And our hotel tax revenue was reduced by 7.3% in that last year, which was equal to $21,734. The hotel industry in our community appears to have been impacted far greater than other sectors of our community. The impact on sales tax, well, our local economy, as you well know, slowed down. Businesses were forced to close their doors, and sales tax collections declined. We tightened our budget. We slowed spending, like any good, prudent person would do. If you could put off an expenditure, we put off expenditures. Overall, the decrease was 5% of our total annual sales tax collection, which is about $75,000. Some would say, wow, that's an awful lot, but compared to how much we actually generate each year, it's really a relatively small amount compared to what it could be. But we do know that the impact on our business was far greater than what it was for us in the city. COVID-related expenditures. We spent over $370,000 in COVID-related expenditures. The city of Early is eligible for reimbursement of $171,000 from the CARES Act. Financially, Early was impacted in the following ways. Public safety expenses, meaning we had to do some things and spend some things that we might not have spent otherwise. Fire and police response to complaints and medical calls, of course, continued. Safety protocols for first responders had to be addressed. And we had to sanitize public spaces. As far as the city council and the city hall, we returned to remote council meetings. Those were interesting. It took several months and several meetings for my council members to all figure out how to do Zoom and things of that nature. I know you're saying you still haven't figured that out. We also had a time there where the city employees in City Hall worked from home, and human resources costs associated with the quarantine and overtime also impacted and factored in as well. And then public awareness aspects. We had to do some website postings. We had to do social media awareness. We also had to put some signage up in public places and public education. So the financial burden from COVID was an additional burden required above and beyond our city budget. Well, we recognize that if our budget was impacted, the financial impact of COVID was felt much more by our business owners and our citizens. However, there is hope, and there was hope, and we found it in the resilience of this community. This is a great community. We come together, we work together, and we get through these things together.
Prior to COVID, I mean, the hotels were full all the time. We were about 25% ahead of the budget numbers. Our locals figured out all the great things that people who come here and visit found. I mean, the different mom and pops and the different services that they offer. A lot of our businesses, as they were resilient and they came up with different things. They thought outside the box and did things that they didn't normally do. We became more of a team. I mean, people were more encouraging and helping, referring to all the different local businesses, and they stopped shopping online and going out of town. For the most part, COVID gives us a step up because now people want to come to small town USA like Early, Texas and experience the smaller town and a smaller pace of life and everything that we have to offer. The one thing that has been positive about COVID and that has made me proud is just everybody working together and being a team. I've always, ever since I went to work for Early, I've always dubbed us as Team Early because we're one big team and we work together. And to see the community jump on board and be very active and a part of that team made me really proud.
I failed to mention that some of you are straining to see this TV. There's another one behind you to the right if you want to turn where you can watch the videos there. Tough situations, and we all face them in our daily lives. Tough situations give you an opportunity. And one of the opportunities a tough situation gives you is the opportunity to learn. And we've learned a lot as a group, as a city, as employees of the city. We've learned there's a positive diversity within our local economy and our budget, our city budget, which makes us stronger. If you notice with me up here, growth, because of Early's continued growth over the last few years, our bounce back from any losses has happened pretty quick. I know it's not over, but we're going up. Sharing our blessings. Due to the growth of Early's been able to lower its tax rate on the property taxes consecutive years, and we share that prosperity with our citizens of the city. And we have proactive recruitment. We want to recruit the right type that fit our city. We work hard to fill the void of retail, restaurant, industrial, manufacturing, and job growth is in general. When businesses grow, we grow. And our job is to promote positive growth. And that's one of the positive and objectives of our city hall. Quality of life also is very important to us. Building a great place to live and work and play is always in our mind. This slide shows you some businesses that opened prior to or during the pandemic. And they're still open, which says you a lot about resilience and our citizens and shopping home. We also have a public-private partnership. Our partnership with Solaris and their contributions to our sales tax collections have proven a vital part of our rapid recovery of our sales tax and our community's local economy is experiencing. This positive impact is happening even during the downturn in the oil industry. And then you have a statement from Solaris about what they do as a manufacturer. I'd like to introduce the next video by talking about our City Secretary, Brenda Kilgo.
Well, the sales tax is one of the two main revenue sources for the city. That it makes up over close to 50% of our overall income for the general fund. With that, the city's sales tax, of course, is a part of that and a huge part of our budgeting factor. when we're budgeting and doing street improvements and park improvements, fire and police safety, public safety, all of those things come from that sales tax. So for 2020, we were able to receive those sales tax funds off of those products that they distributed from right here in Early, Texas. So that made a huge difference in our overall increase. The citizens around the county and the city kind of helped, boost that and not make that impact so hard. We're into 6 months into our fiscal year of 2021, and we've already recovered that 5%, almost 5.5% increase over the year before, and it's continuing to grow. And it's really exciting to see how much growth there has been and the potential of how much is coming, and that's all a part of our community. And the city of Early and the citizens of Early are making that happen.
Several years ago, the city created a municipal development district to help attract and help businesses. And last year, the MDD decided to create a small business grant program. And this program didn't provide a large amount of financial assistance for any business, but the businesses that were given some assistance to the tune of $46,424 to 25 small businesses in Early during the COVID. The Municipal Development District went the extra mile. Post-COVID recovery. Well, an interesting little statement up there that I think we're going to hear quite often. Rural living is trending, but with the desire of the amenities of urban living, which makes Early that much more of a desirable place to come and live. Job creation. Since the end of 2019, the city of Early has seen several new jobs created, and this growth will continue for several years to come, and hopefully we'll constantly be doing that. We've also had increased shopping. One thing, as Brenda said about sales tax, I think we have a visual example, a guarantee, a validation that shop at home does work. A lot of people shopped at home, and that's one reason our sales tax did indeed recover from the 5% decrease. Increased traffic. Oh goodness, we all know that. You just have to be on Early Boulevard at certain times of the day to know just how much traffic there is. The number is over 30,000 vehicles a day, and that right there is an astounding fact. We know there's a lot of traffic, we just didn't realize there's 30,000 plus a day through our city. And that's not all going back and forth for the work, that's also people coming through. And that increased traffic, of course, presents challenges, but it also gives us opportunities as well. We've also had increased developer interest, especially as the COVID is beginning to wind down. We're having more developers come to talk to us about potential developments of housing or retail in Early. All that's going to mean a higher quality of life, a higher quality of life. And that's what we all would really desire. The Early Police Department. We are continuing our efforts to provide a highly professional police department. We added a new patrol position in 2020, added 2 new patrol vehicles, and we're continuing to provide our officers with the top of the line equipment. And we're also, in conjunction with the other entities in the county, upgrading our emergency radio equipment and the dispatch service. Chief Mercer.
I'm David Mercer. I'm Chief of Police for the Early Police Department. I've been Chief since 2008. take a great deal of pride in our interview process when we hire people. We try to make sure we are picking the best applicants possible to serve the city. Our city is unique that it has an extremely high traffic count that runs through the city. Our officers work diligently to maintain a safe traffic environment where cars are not speeding, there's fewer wrecks.
Early Fire Department, we've been growing for the last 5 years. We're still a combination fire department. We have 3 full-time firemen, 12 part-time firemen, and 12 volunteers. We have a couple of pieces of equipment that anybody else that does not have in the county. So they're usually the first ones called. For instance, we have a 3,000 gallon tanker. There's no other like it. So usually on a house fire or grass fire, it's the first thing they call for. So
I believe our department is better equipped than most agencies our size. Again, with the blessing of the council, they've provided us with good equipment, good uniforms, just a better overall looking agency.
the city of Early is a great community to work for. Very rewarding, great people, very supportive of what we do. It's great to be a fireman and to be right here at home.
As Chief Hill alluded to, over the last few years, we've continued as a city council to increase the budget for our fire department in an effort to become a full-time fire department. The value that our volunteer firefighters provide in cost savings, of course, to our budget is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. In 2019 through 2021, the fire department received $60,000 in donations and grants. And this money was used for the purchase of emergency equipment. And 2021 will be a milepost year because that was the year that the city hired its first full-time firefighters in our history. And as he indicated on the video, we have 3 full-time and 12 part-time firefighters. These are professionals, and in addition to the 12 volunteers. In 2021, we've also purchased a new command vehicle for the fire chief. The old one had over 300,000 miles on it, so it was time to replace the vehicle. And a new brush truck. One of our biggest opportunities to use our fire department is grass fires, as Councilman Oath would agree to. Throughout our efforts to develop and equip a full-time fire department, we've not raised our property taxes to fund that. We've done it with our growth in the local economy. We've also gone to ballpark improvements. The city continues to make improvements to the baseball and softball fields as well as McDonald Park. This year, new sidewalks that are ADA compatible and ADA compliant and ADA parking that would address accessibility and mobility concerns are being constructed. And phase 1 of what we have is a multi-phase project will be completed this summer. We're confident that the citizens of Early and the citizens of visiting cities will enjoy the new look and opportunities that the baseball fields and softball fields provide. And we've done this at a fraction of the cost that it would cost to build a whole new set of fields.
Four years ago, we revamped the T-ball field and began kind of tying in some concrete work, more usable seating, and blending that in with some rock work, and then the cedar dugouts around throughout the park. It also is trying to get these things more aesthetically pleasing. Doing this kind of one stage at a time, this was a large stage because we had to build some retaining walls around Field 3, which is going to be a really neat looking field when we get done. Next year we will continue these sidewalks and concrete areas throughout the rest of the park, blending in all the way across to Field 5, which will kind of give connectivity throughout the park and be really usable. The basketball court has really been a big hit. The volleyball area, the walking track's always busy and being lighted, and the new musical playground, sound garden over there. We have also tried to improve our right-of-way signs coming into town from the visitor center, tying in a whole theme of when you come into Early, you know what you're coming into. A lot of these guys are from Early. I was born and raised in Early, so it's kind of a pride factor taking care of these parks and giving families and a community of places to go where they can really enjoy with their kids and families, their churches and church groups, and have activities they can participate in a clean, nice area where it can really be enjoyed at all times.
Now, as much as we've talked about other things, I'm sure somebody in here is going to say, well, what about me? I'm more concerned about my street. So let's talk a moment about street improvements and construction. As far as maintenance program goes, we have a chip seal improvement program in place, so we can do so much repair and sealing every year. In 2019, we did 11,000 feet. Obviously, last year we dropped off drastically because of COVID, but we only did 6,000. And this year we're projected to do another 7,000. As far as major street improvements, in 2019 we did Terre Haute, rebuilt it completely. 2021 Scarlett is scheduled to be rebuilt. 2022 Autumn Drive and 2022 also McDonald Drive are slated for major rebuilding. Day to day we also have street repairs. We aim to keep our streets well runnable as well as clean. And in 2020, the city took another milestone when we purchased our own street sweeper, which some of you may have seen running around the community. Which that's a major project to get the streets swept. Okay, well, as if the COVID impact on the city and on a normality, whatever normality will be tomorrow, was not enough. Then we had the most unusual event for Central Texas in the 41 years that I've lived in Brown County, the blizzard of February. What was the impact? Well, like other cities, we were impacted by the severe cold, the snow, the ice. Brown County Water Improvement District, we have to salute them. They did a great job keeping the water treatment plant running and the water flowing. But even more importantly, the city water department employees worked very tirelessly to fix our water-related issues around the city. The sanitation department, well, we have to applaud them. They got out and picked up trash even in the middle of that snowstorm. Just helped all around everywhere we were. Our employees provided very prompt attention and assistance. Burst pipes, helping the citizens with their burst pipes, pointing in the right direction to get a plumber. And as a result, I speak for the council, I think, to say we are extremely proud of what our employees did during that week with the blizzard. I mean, how many times are we going to anticipate a blizzard in Central Texas? Nathan Land's going to talk about our storm.
Most of this part of Texas has never seen that type of temperature, especially in the way that it happened. With the electricity, it affected us quite a bit. We just were lucky enough to have backup generation on most of our critical infrastructure, which is our water and sewer. And that saved us from a lot of the hardship that a lot of the cities around our area and across Texas experienced throughout that storm. We did prepare ahead of time, especially on the water side, with making sure that we had ample amounts of water in our storage tanks and our elevated towers to assure that we had water in case there was an emergency. Throughout the storm, in addition to water and wastewater, another thing that a lot of people were concerned about was waste, just normal trash collection. And our guys did an amazing job in handling that. They came out and they worked in less than desirable conditions to make sure that our citizens were taken care of. Our commercial trash pickup, most people have seen them. They're riding on the back of a truck through town picking up dumpsters, and those guys bundled up and they got out and they took care of everything that needed to be done. We had some valves that were freezing up and cracking on our main feed line. Most people saw the video of one of our employees upside down in a hole full of water trying to shut a valve to kill that leak that was happening. All of our employees, from the top all the way to the bottom, take a lot of pride in the city of Early, and it's more personal for them than just a job that they come and do. Not one of those guys had any issue with coming out on a Saturday to dive in a hole full of water and mud to fix a leak or ride on the back of a trash truck to make sure things were taken care of. It's sometimes a thankless job, but they do a good job for us every day of the year. And then when things go bad, they do an even better job.
There's a piece of video in there which you think, well, that's got to be some of their time. The last part where you saw our guys in the hole working on the pipe, that was after the heat wave hit. You remember we had those 0 days and then it got up to 33. They got out in the hole at 33 thinking it felt like 80 or 90 degrees. And I can vouch to that. I felt that way too, and I'm sure you did too after those 3 or 4 days. Well, we have the future. And there's some projects that we have undertaken or already completed. And this is an overview, and we're going to see some specifics here on the next slides. Citizen C-Click Fix, Citizen Engagement, the Unified Development Code, and the Town Center Project. Despite all this, despite what we've talked about, despite the fact that we've had COVID on our minds for a long time, that almost sounds like a music title, and of course the blizzard, we are moving forward. The C-Click Fix app is already been implemented. We opened it up on the 1st of March. And I want to have you watch the right-hand corner of the screen because this is going to explain the C-Click Fix.
C-Click Fix is a tool to report non-emergency issues to City Hall, built to be easy to use for anyone on the go. When you see an issue, take less than a minute to report on C-Click Fix. First, hold the app and press Report. Then, press the camera icon to take a picture or video from the app or your image gallery. After that, the app uses geolocation to capture your exact location, or you can manually choose your location or address using the Map tool. When you press Issue Title, you'll be able to choose from the request types that your local government provides. You'll finish up by including a brief description of the issue, such as where it is, what it looks like, and any other important information to help your local government fix the issue. Then, press Done, and then Submit, and you're ready to go. C-Click Fix, a simple and valuable way to help you build a stronger community.
As I said, this app's been attached since they are available since the 1st of March. And since the 1st of March, if you do a little counting, that's just a month plus ago, we've had 75 issues identified and fixed in this community because of this application. We encourage everyone to put it on their phone or something and report to us because it's an easier way to get us out and know what needs to be fixed. Technical upgrades around City Hall. Probably wouldn't have done most of this without the COVID. Thank you. Well, we have done some things that, because we have way back there in the back of the room, he's busy filming, videotaping as our tech specialist. All right, Ricky. He has been given a whole lot of projects. We've updated our logo a little bit. We have put into the event center as well as City Hall large screen, touch screen TVs to be able to do remote presentations, Zoom meetings, etc. We've also updating our website, and we're soon. I won't say when yet because we're still working out the bugs, but we're getting close to streaming our council meetings so that they would be available for you to watch online. And as part of that, we had to update our technology in the chamber. And so the council chamber has been completely redone. New audio, new video capabilities. My council members will get to see it for the first time maybe in May and be maybe blown away by how much we've changed. And we've also worked on our social media. We've actually seen quite a bit more traffic on the social media in the last year too. And for that, we thank you, the citizens. Under Unified Development Code, this is, as the name indicates, where it's a code that is aimed at making all the requirements known as far as what developers need to know about this or that in the city of Early. And we have been working on this project for over a year. We're trying to get consistency and clarity for all of the code and make it user-friendly on top of that. And we're scheduled to vote on the final product in June of this year. Coming soon. We've got a lot of projects that are just about ready to come out of the dirt. R4 Parkway Properties, that's the name of the company, has begun the construction of a 4,000 square foot, 2-tenant building. One of the tenants will be Up and Smoke, which is a barbecue place, and one other business. Then there's Canar RV, which is building a 7,300 foot showroom and RV repair shop. Then one of our apartment complexes, Bear Creek, is going to add another phase to their project with 25 additional units. And then CEFCO, which kind of jumps out at you on the page there, is getting ready to demolition their existing store and rebuild it with and replace it with a 6,000 square foot convenience store and auto and semi-truck pump station there on Old Salt Creek. Then there's the Early Town Center Development Project. In 2020, we were given the opportunity to purchase 65 acres just north of Early Boulevard for future development. And plans are now in motion to create a town center mixed-use development on that property. This project, this land where it's located, will also provide us an opportunity to build bridges, figuratively and literally, with our neighbors across the bayou. There's a potential for a vehicle and pedestrian bridge, take some of the traffic off of Early Boulevard. Also tie the dining, shopping, and recreation areas on both sides of the river together.
The Town Center project is located on 65 acres of land that's adjacent to the Pecan Bayou. It's going to be made up of kind of two parts. It'll be a parkland and multi-use development. The designer is working towards having anything from a short par 3 golf course to playground equipment and other activities to encourage families to get outside and interact together. We've also had a conversation with Texas Parks and Wildlife. They're willing to stock our pond with different species of fish. This will allow families to come down, find a nice quiet fishing hole, and introduce children to what fishing is all about. The multi-use development will be a mix of restaurants, residential multifamily condos, retail shopping, office space, and a hotel, all situated around the pond to make walkable space and interact between them. This will include a new road and sidewalks from Old May Road behind the Cefco and extend west into the new intersection between La Botana and O'Reilly's Auto Parts. This is going to be a huge development for the city of Early. It makes me personally excited to be a part of it, to be able to grow our economic development through something like this and add to our families that come to the city already. It gives the families something to do.
The street that Larry mentioned in there is in the engineering stages, and plans are ready to begin to construct that street this year. Concepts for the recreation area are almost complete, and then as you see up here, you may be able to read it, we have a public hearing for citizen input sometime during the summer, and construction on the recreational elements would begin after funding options are identified. Concept site plans for the mixed-use development will begin next week. So Tony, being on vacation today, he's going to get to go back to work tomorrow, next week on this project. Concept site plans for the mixed use, as we said, will begin to be worked out next week. Public hearing for citizen input on this mixed use development will also be held sometime late summer 21, with work development and building construction possibly beginning as early as the fall of 22. Got lots of things coming, lots of things coming.
Before you step onto a field, before you step onto a court, before you step onto a stadium to celebrate a great victory, before you walk into the conference room, into a meeting room, into the council room to finalize a successful agreement, before you begin construction or have that ribbon cutting on that anticipated project, you must focus on some basic fundamentals that will lead to your success. You must build a team of talented team members and establish a foundation that the success can be built upon. Our mayor and city council is made up of citizens with strong community pride who are diligent in their efforts to provide a vision, strategies that align with the needs and expectations of our citizens. The city's boards and committees are committed to the prosperity of the community and work towards building a city that we can all be proud to call home. Our city staff and employees are dedicated. They work hard and make Early a better place tomorrow than it was yesterday. Most importantly, the relationships that we've established with our school board, our chambers, our business owners, and our community members, the citizens that live here, have provided us with the insight of what they value and what the characteristics of the community should be. Over the last few years, we have built water supply lines that serve the needs of the city for years to come. A new wastewater treatment that can handle the demands of current and future developments. We have maintained our street infrastructure and we're rebuilding and building new ones every year. We're improving the quality of life and helping increase the community pride in Early with projects such as building the new Visitors and Event Center, the new McDonald Park, and the great improvements that are going on at our ballpark facility. All of this has been accomplished by reducing and maintaining the second lowest property tax in Brown County, second only to our partner community, Blanket, Texas. What does this mean for Early's future? With an all-star team and a strong foundation, we're primed, prepared, and ready for continued success. All of you here have accomplished this through your direct and indirect involvement in our community. You have the talent, you have the fundamental foundation established. You have earned the right to celebrate the success today and those to come tomorrow. Early is open for business. Early is open for opportunity. Early is open for development. Early is open for a bright future, and that's because of you.
we come together today, then, the long and winding road is still before us. But our position as a city at this time is very favorable. Our team, the A-Team, is established. I don't know that, I haven't checked with my city council members, but I don't think one of them would disagree with me that we've got the best group of employees at City Hall and in our departments at any city in this country. They are the A-Team. I've also been blessed to be able to work with a group of individuals as city council members and with the city administration that has a vision for a great future. So we have a great future ahead of us. Where we are is great, and where we are headed will be even better. Thank you.